Hey everyone, welcome back to Strange Mind 6. I'm your host Ruby, and today we're going to be getting into The Octunnumi by Trevor Allen Fosbit. I do want to state beforehand that there is a bit of construction going on near my home, so you might hear some of that. I just don't want you guys, as I'm reading, to get startled by the noise. So I do want to give a heads up. But we're going to be getting into part 6 of the Octunnumi. So please grab your drinks, grab your snacks, or sit back and relax. And let's get to it. Let's focus, shall we? As the scene around them dissolves, taking Fiona, Nate, and the suite with it, Marjorie's personal office materializes around them. The room, though substantial, is straining at the seams, and is exactly as Marjorie likes it. Bookshelves, chests of drawers, tall, squat, narrow tables piled high with boxes, books, and papers, vying for space along the walls and floor, framing the window, doorway, and fireplace. Lights shine from the neat windows of the large Gothic Victorian doll's house, taking pride of place in its own alcove. And while some books have managed to find a home randomly on the shelves, the bookcases mostly housed things, artifacts, charms, carvings, jars of stones, beads, things that sparkled, ancient jewelry. Wandering these shelves, the many mechanical animals that Marjorie had accumulated over the years, ambled about their day unaffected by the presence of Marjorie and her children. But for all its apparent chaos, it had an air of tranquil calm, with its deep carpet, assorted comfortable chairs, and open fire that, although continually burning, was always cool to the touch. Her desk sat back in the room was laden with pots of brightly colored pens and pencils, paints, papers, charts, and maps. Everything in this room represented a story, a past, a history, but as history often did, all related very much to the future. Linking arms with the boys, Marjorie guides them further into the room. Reaching her desk, she clears a space, turns and perches on the edge, waiting for the uneasy silence to be broken. "So," Reg asks, moving to sit in a chair facing his mother. "The photo?" "Not a photo. An image save," Marjorie says, handing over the envelope from earlier. "It's too relaxed." "From Fethris?" Reg asks, noting the typed name. "That, or someone who knows me from there," she nods. Reg, opening the card, glances momentarily at the dozen or so children enjoying, it would seem, a picnic. All are of similar age, though obviously of differing ethnic backgrounds. Holding it up for Trad to see, he continues, "So, what's the significance?" Trad, barely glancing at it, adds, "It's just a group of kids." "Not just any kids," Margarine states, taking a moment before continuing quietly. "They are the Bolivian children." The Reg looks again at the photo in his hand, suddenly recognizing the faces, but there was something odd. "The ones that we sent to their deaths," Trad states, moving away. "I don't need reminding what they look like." "There was never any proof," Margarine responds. "Oh, really? And where do you think they are? Disneyland?" He retorts sharply. "I was there. We all were. Bolivian took those kids. He double-crossed us all. We, Bolivian, were supposed to protect them, keep them safe from the sadistic lunatics that were hunting them. We were supposed to be the only ones who could. We were the only ones with the capabilities," Margarine says. "We offered the most secure." "And yet," Trad interrupts, "we didn't, did we? We didn't offer them security. No, instead, we offered them up to that monster. He killed them and fled straight to the Hitherant. And we all know there's only one way you get through that access point, right?" He looks at his mother. "That's right," he continues, not waiting for a reply. "Invite only. So Bolivian must have had some pretty dark friends to be able to find that place, let alone get in." Trad slumps down in an armchair. "I know, I've tried," he says. So with this one-way ticket to whatever paradise he exchanged the kids for, Bolivian is untouchable." "Look closer," Margarine says, taking the image from Reg and throwing it into the air above her desk where it hangs. She splays her hand to enlarge it. "Take a look at the tech, the clothes, the paper on the table." "You have got to be kidding me," they both exclaim, moving in closer, studying the details. "That's what's wrong with the image," Reg mutters. "This is recent." "So, they are still alive?" Trad asks. "But," he looks to his mother, "the carriage, it..." "There was never any evidence that the kids were harmed. They were in it. It blew up. But we did not find any sign that they had been inside. I saw them. We all saw them. They were inside." "Well, if we are to believe the image," she glances again at the children's picnic, "it would seem we were wrong." "So this image is 10 days old?" Reg asks. "Assuming it is from the same day as the date of the paper, yes." "So," Reg states, "Nate knows the children are alive." "More to the point," Trad adds, "where they are." "If he's seen this image, then yes, he knows they are alive. But this," she says, looking again at the image, It's not from Nate. She pauses. It's been taken from someone else's memory. That's why it's not so clear, and why it took me a while to recognize them. She turns to face her boys. It's a second-hand image. And Nate got it? How? Trad asks. Either it was given to him, or he's killed someone. Trad interrupts. You are just not going to give him the benefit, are you? Reg confronts his brother. We don't know how he got the image, how he ended up here, or why. Taking a breath, Reg turns away from Trad and addresses his mother. Anything from the image? I've tracked its history, Marjorie nods. Nate is the one who put it in the envelope and addressed it to me, but nothing beyond that, and until he comes around. So, okay, Trad says. Let's get this straight. The Bolivian kids are alive. Judging by the newspaper, he adds, eyeing the image as he walks around the study. In Fethris, living as kids somewhere. Why haven't they come forward, contacted us? Perhaps they can't. Or don't remember how or where we are. The HQ has moved several times, and none of them have their rallius, their bead. It's the little medallion, kind of like a key to get them inside. She sighs. I don't know, but I do know that if we are aware of these kids, then so are others, and we need to go get them before anyone else does. And how are we going to do that? It's been years. You mentored them, she says, looking to the boys. You and the others all had one-to-one with these kids. By the others, do I take it you are talking about the original team? Trad asks. Margarine does not reply, but instead allows the question to hang. You have got to be kidding. Regroup? It's the only way, she states. Now, you know they are alive. You can trace their frequency. Not if they are in Fethris. Reg points to the image, which would explain why we haven't picked up on them before. Especially as we weren't looking, Margarine comments. But with the exception of Taj and Veeth, Trad glances at Reg, who avoids his gaze. I haven't been in touch with any of the others since it happened. That was the deal with the protection scheme, wasn't it? Complete separation, and as I remember it, our parting with some of them was less than amicable. But that was before, Margarine says, gesturing the image. Before what? He snaps. Before all the recriminations, the blame? Before we knew they were okay. She moves to sit on the edge of the desk. As she does so, she places her hand on his arm. Look, things were said. We were all hurt. No one could make sense of what happened. All these years, I saw it go up. We all did, the carriage. There was nothing left, he muttered, slumping again into the chair. No one was to blame, she says. We all trusted Bolivian. None of us could have known. He fooled us all. She sweeps his fringe from his eyes. But now, if what we see here, she looks up at the image. Now we know none of that happened. I swear if Nate had anything to do with this, Trad starts. Reg grabs the image as it reverts back to its original size. He holds it in front of Trad. This, as you well know, he cuts in sharply, excuse me, jabbing at a young girl's face in the image, is Nate's sister, Abigail. Do you honestly think he would have sent her to her death? This is why he went off the rails, Trad, remember? Silently, Trad plays through his last conversation with Nate. Plenty was said by both boys, one of it pleasant and lots of it unresolved. I remember, he says quietly. Let's just keep on track, Margarine suggests, and save accusations until we have a clear idea of what is actually happening. We need to get the original group together, however it's achieved. Only then will you be able to find the kids you each have a connection with. Margarine pauses. It's the only way. Ma'am, sirs, forgive the interruption. Yes, Mr. Ward. Margarine looks over to the door. Please come in. I love you, Mr. Ward states, without moving. Well, she hesitates. Very fond of you too, Mr. Ward, but no, ma'am, he replies, slightly taken aback at the assumption. It is what the young lady said as she left. So it's Melissa, but how? Offers Reg. I think it's unlikely, sir, Mr. Ward replies. But who else? Reg asks. We know Nate never remarried. He didn't even date. He spent all his time looking for Melissa's next gen. Master Reg, please. Mr. Ward interrupts. I think it highly improbable that you are correct, sirs. Come on, Reggie. Trad interrupts. You can't always be right. If you will allow me, sir, Mr. Ward continues tersely. Firstly, it's Mr. Ward. Sure, Reggie, sure, he smiles. And her exact words were, he says, giving Trad his best look of disdain, I love you, Dad. Dad? Yes, sir, she said, I love you, Dad. As silence falls over them, an image of the lovely Miss Fioneth appears in the room. Margarine, she says, Nate's awake. And with that, my dear friends, we get to the other chapter. I know this video was a little bit short, but I do hope that you guys enjoyed it. And what a cliffhanger we left off on. So please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And until next time, this is Ruby signing off.